Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to cover some new Python syntax, introducing control structures in Python such as if statements and loops, as well as accepting input from standard input. We'll use these concepts to implement a simple number guesser program. So first, we're going to have a look at how to read data from the user. So the name of the function in Python to do this is input. This function allows you to give a prompt to the user, halt execution until the user has pressed enter, and then store the results of what they type into a variable. For example, I can type name equals input, please enter your name with a new line, which will assign whatever the user types into the variable name. I can then print out a hello message using this variable. Over on the right, we can run this to see how it works. So it's prompted me to enter my name. And when I hit enter, it prints out the value of that variable. Now, what is received from input is always a type string. So say I try to get a number x from input. And I type the number 8. Then when I do x plus x, rather than getting 16, which is 8 plus 8, we get 88 since x is a string and it's simply concatenating these strings together. The solution to this is to cast the input to an integer. In Python, we can cast a string to an integer by typing int. So now when I do x plus x, we get 16 as expected. Great. Now let's take a look at control structures. The first important thing to note is that indentation is very important in Python. In C, we would use curly braces to indicate the beginning or end of a block, such as if statements, functions, or while loops. However, in Python, indentation is used to specify the beginning and end of blocks, as opposed to curly braces in C. For example, if I have I equals 5, I can write an if statement by checking if I is less than 10. Note, I also don't need brackets around the conditions for my if statement. I use indentation to specify what is inside the if statement. So I can print the value of I if it's less than 10. Running this program, we can see that I is printed since it's less than 10. We can also add else if and else statements. So in Python, else if is simply elif, and I can put another condition for if I is less than 25, and a final else statement. So as you can see, the indented block indicates what happens when the condition is fulfilled. We can write while loops in a similar fashion. The indented code is repeated while the condition is true. For example, say I is 0. I can say while I is less than 10, I'll print the value of I and increment. As you can see, this prints the numbers 0 through to 9. The next type of loop is a ranged base for loop. So if I want to loop through numbers 0 to 6, I can type for I in range 6. If I run this program, as you can see, this prints numbers 0 to 5, so it is exclusive of the number provided in the range. With the range function, you can provide an initial value as well. So say I only want to loop through numbers 2 till 6. I just provide 2 numbers into the range function. Running this again, you can see it's printed the numbers 2 through 5. Finally, with the range function, you can provide a step value. So say I only want to print out every second number, I'll provide a third value of 2. So when I run this, you can see that only numbers between 2 and 6 with a step of 2 are printed. Awesome. So now we're going to use the Python features we've just learnt to build a simple number guesser. We'll write the code which generates a random number and ask the user to guess that number until they get the correct answer. So we'll start with these 2 lines of code, which use a library to generate a random number between 1 and 10 inclusive. I'm not going to get too much into detail, but essentially we have a variable called answer, which now has the random number that the user has to guess. Next, we'll allow the user to make a guess using the input function. So we'll make a prompt for them to enter a number between 1 and 10 and assign this to their guess. Now we'll use a while loop so that while the user hasn't correctly guessed the answer yet, we'll keep asking for input. So the condition of this loop is going to be while guess is not equal to answer. Inside this loop, we'll ask for another guess since they haven't gotten the correct answer yet. So this line of code is going to look the same as this third line up here. Finally, once we've exited the loop, we want to print a success message. So we'll outdent from the while loop and just print, you got the correct answer. We can run this program to test it. So when I run it, it's prompting me to enter a number between 1 and 10. And once I get the correct answer, it's printing out, you got the correct answer. So now we're going to change this program a little bit to tell the user if their guess was too high or too low. We can do this using the if statements, which we saw before. So inside the while loop, we can say if guess is less than answer, in which case we want to say your guess was too low. Otherwise, we want to say that their guess was too high, so we can put this in an else statement. So we'll run the program again with the changes. So I'll guess 5. And it's telling me that my guess was too high, so I'll try 3. Great, so that's all for our number guesser. Thanks for watching.